Hello and welcome to Overdrive. So let's start off with what's at the center or what's at the heart of these new concepts. So this is the new Inglo architecture. This is their skateboard architecture that will motivate all these concept vehicles because they're all going to enter production. There are 5 of them, but we'll come to that later. Right now, first let's take a look at the skateboard architecture. It is very important. So why Inglo? In for India, Glo for global. So it's an Indian global platform. Essentially, they have developed this with Volkswagen. So Volkswagen has the MEB toolkit, the electric toolkit. So they have borrowed components from there, and they have developed their own as well. So essentially, what this uses right here is a lithium ferrous phosphate or a lithium iron phosphate battery pack. It's not the same as lithium ion. It's different. It has almost 4 to 5 times the life, and it's also a safer chemistry. So that is what makes it more important. And the other big claim to fame, of course, is that their skateboard architecture is actually quite lightweight. You're looking at between 2.5 to 2.7 tons for the entire vehicle, not just the skateboard, but for the entire vehicle, and that's for their biggest vehicle that they will build on this. Now, this is, of course, a modular platform, which means that the front section remains the same, the rear section remains the same, but they can obviously alter the skateboard in between and give you different wheelbases. So there are 2 wheelbase options. One is a 2762 and other is a 2775 millimeter option. So 13 millimeter difference between the two. So that is what they'll essentially do. And in terms of the battery capability, there'll be battery capacity, there'll be about 60 to 80 kilowatt capacity options. And you're looking at a WLTP range of about 450 kilometers. This system will also support or is compatible with 175 kilowatt fast charging, which means that 0 to 80% can be achieved in about half an hour. In terms of the power outputs, well, the power outputs are actually quite interesting. Now, this is predominantly a rear wheel driven platform, but you can also have an all-wheel drive option on this. For the rear wheel drive options, you can expect between 230 to 260 PS of power output, and for the all-wheel drive, you're looking at between 340 to 400 PS of power output. So you can see the MEB coming in there. You can see all the technologies that Mahindra has put together. It is going to compete with the likes of the e-tron. It's going to compete with the likes of the Kia EV6 as well in terms of the specs. 0 to 100 for these configurations can be anywhere between 5 to 6 seconds. That is fairly quick. In fact, that is fairly quick. It's quicker than even the e-tron, not the GT, but the e-tron crossover. So that's very interesting. With this architecture, Mahindra will also be gunning for a 5-star safety rating. And they have also made sure that they are using high strength boron steel to make sure that the battery compartment is completely isolated and is very safe in case of a collision. In terms of components, it gets a McPherson strut up front, 5-link suspension at the rear, but it will come with adaptive dampers at all ends. So that is again going to be a very important factor for these vehicles. They are going to be premium. They are not going to be your basic entry-level vehicles. You also see 3 screens, 3 12.3-inch screens. So essentially, apart from these screens, now we have seen the 12.3-inch screens even in the XUV700, but apart from that, it will also receive the required computing power for these screens. So essentially, there are 3 high-speed computers that will work with the battery management system, with the infotainment, etc. They are all running dual octa-core processors. These screens are going to have 1920p resolution. And there's going to be a lot of connected tech. It's also 5G compliant, etc. So in terms of tech, in terms of hardware, it's going to be right up there. Now, this is the basic architecture. Let's also take a look at the different vehicles that they will build atop this architecture. So there is this, the B05. So B is going to be one sub-brand. Call it BE for battery electric, born electric, whatever you might want to call it. There are going to be 3 concepts here, or 3 vehicles that will be spawned off under the BE sub-brand. There will be the B05, B07 and B09, and the other sub-brand would be XUV, and the XUV will have 2 concepts that are shown right now, the E8 and the E9. The E8 looks more like an electrified XUV700, and the E9 is this coupe SUV or coupe crossover kind of concept. So I'll have detailed videos of all these concepts to tell you more about them.